I finally blocked my father's number for good after he ghosted my wedding, but it took my own brother calling me a selfish brat to realize the family I was losing was never really mine to begin with. I've tried to write this down so many times, but the words get tangled with all the hurt. I'm 34 and my name is Cassandra. My dad, Robert, has been a specter in my life, sometimes present, mostly not. My parents' divorce when I was 19 was a nuclear event, fueled by his drinking and a temper that could shatter the quiet of any room. He met Sophia when I was 21, and not long after, I moved across the state to breathe air that wasn't thick with the smell of whiskey and regret. For over a decade, our contact was a threadbare thing, a stiff birthday call, a generic Christmas card signed only by him. The pandemic changed something. Or maybe it was just me hitting my 30s and feeling the weight of unanswered questions. He started calling more. "Just checking in, kiddo," he'd say. I was cautious, building boundaries brick by brick. No discussions about my mom, no comments on my life choices, no drunk dials. He'd test the limits, of course. A rant about politics, a slurred judgment about my job. I'd hang up, put him in a timeout for a month, and he'd come back quieter, almost contrite. Then I met Ben. Solid, kind Ben, whose love felt like a stable shore after years of turbulent seas. To my astonishment, my father seemed genuinely happy for me. He asked about Ben, remembered details from our conversations. He even, during one clear voice call, said the words I'd stopped hoping to hear. "Cassie, I'm sorry. For all of it. For not being the dad you needed. I was in a bad place." I cried for hours that night. It felt like a bone, broken long ago, had finally been set. The relief was dizzying. When Ben proposed, my father was the second person I called. He was ecstatic. "My little girl," he boomed. He tentatively asked about giving me away. I gently said no. The symbolism didn't fit. I'd walked through most of my adult life alone. I wanted to walk to Ben on my own strength. He was hurt. I could hear it, but he accepted it. How about a father-daughter dance? I offered. "We can do that," he said, and his voice warmed again. We planned a dinner. Ben and I drove to a small town, a place I'd left and rarely looked back at. He and Sophia had a neat little house. Dinner was normal, pleasant, even. He told funny, sanitized stories about my childhood. He and Ben talked about football. For a flickering evening, I had a glimpse of what a normal family might feel like. We made plans for him and Sophia to come to our city and meet Ben's parents a few months later. It felt like a bridge was being built. Then the cancellation started. The week before the meeting, Sophia had a sudden back procedure. We'd already booked the restaurant. I suggested we just swing by their house for a quick hello. Ben's mother was undergoing chemotherapy. Time felt precious. Reluctantly, he agreed. When we pulled up, Sophia walked out the driveway with him, moving easily, smiling, no sign of any medical issue. My stomach dropped, but I shoved the doubt aside. Maybe she's just tough, I thought. The pattern repeated. For months, every plan we made, a lunch, a visit to see our new house, collapsed the week of. The excuses were a tired parade. His truck needed unexpected repairs. A friend was in a crisis. Sophia had another specialist appointment. They were lies I recognized. The medical emergency was his favorite old standby from my teens, used to get out of school events or weekend visits. My wedding was set for a beautiful October Saturday. We'd chosen a rustic venue an hour from the city. He promised he'd be there, beaming over the phone about making a weekend of it. 3 weeks before the day, my phone rang. It was Sophia. They shared a phone plan, a fact that always annoyed me. She launched in, her voice sharp. "Did you know the hotel valet is $30 a night? Why didn't you warn people?" I was stunned. I'd arranged a room block, but we were local, we weren't staying. I hadn't scrutinized the parking details. I stammered that I was sorry, but it was a city hotel, and that was fairly standard. Well, it's not standard for us, she snapped and hung up. The Tuesday before my Sunday wedding, I was at a cardiologist's office. The stress of planning, coupled with an old anxiety condition, had set my heart into wild arrhythmias. I missed a call from my father. The voicemail was just heavy breathing. Then a text came through. Cassandra, Sophia's having an urgent procedure. We can't make it this weekend. So sorry. Gift to follow. The world narrowed to the cold light of my phone screen. I just knew. It was the same lie, dusted off of the biggest occasion of my life. My hands shook as I typed back. Dad, please. This is my wedding. Just come for the ceremony. 1 hour. Someone can sit with Sophia. Please don't do this. His reply was swift. It's not a competition, Cassie. I'm disappointed you'd ask me to choose. A raw, guttural sound escaped me. Ben, who had been holding my hand in the doctor's waiting room, gently took my phone. Let me, he said softly. He drafted a response, showed it to me. It was calm, final, and devastatingly clear. Robert, if you cannot find 1 hour for your daughter's wedding, then you have made your choice. Do not contact Cassandra again. Consider this the end of our relationship. He sent it. I held my breath, a foolish, childish part of me waiting for the phone to ring, for him to say it was a mistake. He was on his way. Nothing. I left him unblocked, a secret test, until I was putting on my wedding dress. No calls, no texts, not even a good luck. As my maid of honor zipped me up, I took my phone, went as contact, and hit block. The finality of it was like slamming a vault door. The wedding itself was perfect. Ben's eyes when he saw me, the warmth of our friends, the joy that felt so deep and real. A few people asked where my dad was. I just smiled and said he couldn't make it. The sadness was a small, quiet stone in my shoe, present, but not enough to make me stumble. After the whirlwind of the honeymoon, I checked my block folder in late November. There among spam was a message from his number sent on Thanksgiving Day. Cassandra, I hope you had a nice day. I want you to understand. Sophia's my family now. She comes first. She needs me. I thought you'd be mature enough to get that. I'll always love you. The anger then was a clean, hot flame. She needs me. I had needed him for 34 years. I showed Ben. He just wrapped his arms around me and said, The trash took itself out, my love. I'm so sorry. I told my younger brother, Jamie, who was still in touch with our father, that Robert was dead to me. Jamie, who'd always been more forgiving, sighed. He asks about you. He's really sad, Cass. I think Sophia is the one pulling the strings. You should feel sorry for him, all alone with her. He's not alone. I shot back. He has her, and he chose that over me. On my wedding day. Don't ask me to feel sorry for the man who stood me up at the altar. Months passed. I focused on my new marriage, my job as a freelance graphic designer, on building a home with Ben. The peace was profound. But families are messy ecosystems, and cutting out one organism affects the others. Jamie had been talking about moving out of our mom's chaotic apartment for years. Our aunt and uncle on the coast offered him a room, a chance to start fresh and find work in a busier city. The whole family chipped in for a plane ticket, so he could go scout it out. He came back buzzing with excitement. I was happy for him, though I'd miss him terribly. We talked on the phone, making plans for me to drive down to see him before the big move. During that call, I made the mistake of expressing my sadness about him being so far away. His tone shifted. Well, I'll be the only one still talking Dad out there, so imagine how he feels. You should really get over it. Cass. He doesn't get why you're still holding a grudge. The air left my lungs. The guilt, that old familiar phantom, wrapped its hands around my throat. Then Ben's words echoed in my head. You have nothing to feel guilty for. The phantom loosened its grip, replaced by a surge of betrayal. Jamie, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. He didn't forget to pick up milk. He chose not to come to my wedding. He is facing the consequences of a choice he made. I am not the villain in his story. He mumbled something non-committal and changed the subject. The planned visit never happened. I found out through a cousin's Instagram post that Jamie had left a week earlier than he told me. He'd driven right past my exit on the highway. When I finally got him on the phone, hurt and confused, he erupted. You always make everything about you. Why can't you just be happy for me? You're trying to guilt-trip me, just like you guilt-tripped Dad. The resemblance to our father's rhetoric was chilling. I cried, not just for the missed goodbye, but for the brother I felt I was losing. He offered a half-hearted apology, but the damage was done. Ben, listening to my side of the conversation, was furious. He's a 28-year-old man, Cassie, not a confused kid. He knows exactly what he's saying. The distance between Jamie and me grew. Calls became infrequent. Texts brief. My birthday came. A happy birthday. Text arrived at 11:57 p.m. No call. I felt myself shrinking, the old wounds pulsing under the surface. I was losing my brother over a man who couldn't be bothered to show up. Then, in the bleakness of February, my father began his campaign. First, a text on Valentine's Day. Thinking of you. Hope you're well. Always your dad. Then a missed call from an unknown number that left a silent voicemail. Another text on a random Tuesday. Saw your favorite flower at the market. Made me think of you. It was a weaponized nostalgia designed to soften me. I broke my own rule and checked the blocked messages. They were all there, lined up like little poison candies. Ben found me staring at my phone, tears streaming silently down my face. He's hoovering, Ben said gently, using the term for when toxic people try to suck you back in. He's testing the perimeter. Don't let him in. The final test came through my older sister, Nina. We weren't close. She left home at 16 and never looked back, but she had a daughter, Lily, who was curious about her grandfather. Nina, against her better judgment, arranged a brief meeting at a park. She called me afterwards. He looked old, Cass. Tired. He spent 20 minutes trying to explain the wedding thing. Said Sophia was fragile, that he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Nina's voice was dry. I told him there was no rock or hard place. There was his daughter, and there was his choice. He could have come for the ceremony. He just didn't want to. He shut up after that. Thank you. I whispered, the gratitude immense. He asked about you. I said you were happy and thriving. He got this look, not sadness, more like frustration, like a mechanic who can't get a stubborn bolt to turn. That image stuck with me. I wasn't a daughter to be loved. I was a problem to be solved, a bolt that wouldn't budge to his wrench. Spring arrived. I was trying to build a new life, but it felt isolating. Post-wedding, my friend group had dissipated. Everyone busy with their own lives. Work from home was lonely. Ben was my rock. But I craved female companionship, a sense of community I'd never really had. We'd also started trying for a baby, and each negative test was a private heartache that made the absence of mother, even a flawed one, ache more sharply. The breakthrough, strangely, came because of a car. Jamie called me in late April, his voice thin with panic. His ancient hatchback, which he neglected for years, had finally died on a freeway outside Portland. He had no savings for repairs. He was laid off from his latest gig. The family out there was getting impatient. Cass, I don't know what to do. he said, and for a moment, he sounded like the little brother I protected. The old instinct to fix, to rescue, flared. But then he added, I might have to come back. Maybe stay with Dad for a bit while I get on my feet. And there it was, the chess piece moving on the board. I saw the next 5 moves ahead. Jamie moving in with Robert. Robert playing the magnanimous, forgiving father. The two of them forming a united front. The pressure on me to be the bigger person, to forgive for family's sake, would become immense. They would use Jamie's predicament as a lever to pry open the door I'd shut. I took a deep breath. That sounds like a plan you need to work out with Dad, then I said, my voice neutral. He was silent, waiting for more, for an offer, for concern, for an invitation to my home. I gave him nothing but polite detachment. Aren't you going to say anything else? He finally asked, a hint of the old petulance returning. I hope it works out for you, Jamie. I really do. And I meant it, but I also meant the unspoken second half. Your choices are your own. Your alliance is your own. I am not part of this anymore. We hung up. I felt a tremor go through me, but it wasn't fear. It was strength. I walked into the living room where Ben was reading. Jamie's probably moving back in with my dad, I said. He put his book down, his face full of concern. Okay, and how do you feel about that? I looked out the window at our small, thriving garden, the flowers we planted together pushing through the soil. I feel nothing about him, about any of it. It's their drama. It doesn't have to be mine. For the first time, I truly believed it. A week later, on a Sunday morning, my phone buzzed. An unknown local number. I let it go to voicemail. A few minutes later, a notification popped up. A voicemail had been saved. My heart hammered. It was him. It had to be. He got my number from Jamie. He was going to try the direct approach. I played it, my hand steady. There was a long pause, then the sound of labored breathing. Then his voice, older and gravelier than I remembered, but unmistakable. Cassandra, it's your dad. A cough. I heard about Jamie's situation. It's got me thinking. About family. About how short life is. I made a terrible mistake. I see that now. Sophia and I, it's complicated. But you're my blood. My little girl. I want to make it right. I want to see you. Just a coffee. No strings. I have something for you. Something from your grandmother. Please, just give me a chance to explain. The tone was perfect. The wounded lion, the repentant patriarch, the bearer of familial treasures. A year ago, it would have worked. A month ago, it might have sparked a flicker of hope. Now, it just sounded like a performance. A tired, well-rehearsed performance. I didn't save the number. I didn't text back. I didn't cry. I simply deleted the voicemail, then blocked that number too. Then I went to the kitchen, where Ben was making pancakes. The smell of cinnamon and maple syrup filled the air. Who was that? He asked casually, flipping a pancake. A wrong number, I said, and it was a call from a past that was no longer my home, from a ghost who had no claim on my present. I wrapped my arms around Ben's waist, resting my cheek against his back, feeling the solid, real beat of his heart. Smells good in here, I whispered. He turned, his smile warm and knowing. He saw the peace on my face. It's a good morning, he said, and kissed my forehead. And it was. The story wasn't about them anymore. Not my father's perpetual disappointments. Not my brother's chosen alliances. It was about the quiet kitchen, the sun on the floor, the man who showed up every single day, and the life we were building, brick by steady brick, on a foundation of our own choosing. The vault door was shut, locked, and I had finally, truly walked away.